Hi, I'm Lillian.
And I'm Felipe.
We are the Postmodern family.
We are Americans living in the UK, living a traditional life and interpreting your ways.
Today's video is about how we've noticed people tend to greet each other, or how we greet people and how they greet us in the UK versus the US.
The first greeting that we've experienced here in the UK that was quite peculiar is the whole half hug kiss on one cheek between man and woman. So this doesn't happen between man and man, and I think it happens between woman and woman. So I go in and then I give one kiss to the person, to the woman, and the woman gives one kiss here. Not both cheeks. Apparently that's continental. The second one, which is I find more particularly British, because the number one is a little bit too close for comfort, I think, for British people, but they do it anyway. But number two is no touch. So you just say, all right, and no shaking hands, no half hugs, no kisses, no anything. And the third one is common between anyone in the US as well. It's just the basic firm handshake. Although I found that most people that I've extended that to here have been of the no touch kind, so they awkwardly give me a late extension of the hand, so they didn't expect it. So I extend my hand quite quickly and they're just like, oh, I guess you were giving me a handshake. But that seems pretty normal. Number four is one that I didn't expect and I've never experienced in the US. It's between a man and a woman, where the woman sort of extends a hand like that, folded, and then the man is coming in for a regular handshake. So you end up doing kind of this. And I've actually experienced that between men very awkwardly, but that's very rare. But yeah, mostly between man and woman handshake. It's a really weird one. And number five is common in the US as well. It's when you're good friends with a guy and you go in for the handshake, but since you're good friends, you come in for the half hug and you pat on the back with the other hand. And that's quite nice. I have that. I've done that here.
Number one for greetings in the US are handshakes. Pretty universal between pretty much anyone. It is probably the go-to greeting for meeting anybody new, or even seeing someone again after a while. You almost immediately, when you see them and you're within arm's reach, you put your hand out and you give a firm handshake and you say, hey, good to see you, or hi, nice to meet you, my name is, etc. It's not very common in the UK, so I think it comes off a little bit too confident, a little bit too proud, if you will, if you immediately go and put your hand out to a British person. Number two, that we noticed doesn't happen in the US at all, and I just wanted to mention it because if you were visiting Americans, I guess, you wouldn't do the kiss on the cheek, okay? Americans, even though we're very friendly, we don't typically kiss one or both cheeks at all, so I wouldn't do that if you're visiting the US. Number three, which is typical between good friends of either man-man, woman-woman, or man-woman combinations, are the full hug. And it is quite common when you see someone that you know and you like, hopefully, to come in at a full hug. Usually one person comes out like this, and the other one comes in like this, or you do like the opposite side, alternating shoulder and arm, which one's higher and lower. And it's just a good pat on the back, say, hi, good to see you, or maybe just a little gentle squeeze. Different styles from across the US, but that is something that you do find quite often. Number four is a handshake that is a little bit more friendly or familial, where you would do the normal handshake, but then you would give the hand a pat with the other hand. So you kind of close in on their hand. It's a warmer greeting than just the business-like firm handshake. It doesn't really happen in the UK, the patting on the back of the hand. And then number five is the half hug. So usually this is between men and men, sometimes between men and women, but usually not between women and women. Is you kind of go in for the handshake, or it could be like this kind of handshake instead of this handshake, and then you kind of wrap the half hug, pat on the back. It's kind of like a hey bro kind of hug that you would see between men and men quite often in the US.
When I first got here, the whole kissing on the cheek was very strange.
It was very strange. And it was like people who didn't know, or even if they did know that we were new to the UK, were taken aback by not being greeted that way. They thought we were being impolite, I think. And we were just not familiar with that custom. So once you see someone, let's say they invited you to their house for dinner, right at the door, you would go in for a kiss on the cheek. Right at the door. So in the US, when you come into someone's house, usually they open the door, they might shake your hand, but you usually just go in. You don't do that kiss thing before going in. Right?
Yeah. Clearly, this is different among Latin Americans in the U.S. So South Florida, the Latin culture, it's all about hugs and kisses, both cheeks. But not amongst true Americans. Which, by the way, I always am puzzled and enjoy the comments such as, "So he's Mexican and she's Japanese. Where are the Americans?" I guess there are some people who think Americans are only white. So it's just interesting. Anyway. Awkwardness when we first got here. The other one is the going in for a handshake and people being surprised that you're going in for a handshake. So I found that a little awkward. They're like, "Oh, surprise, a surprise." They extend their hand late. And then because they extend late, the hand isn't prepared. So it's just awkward.
Now, I do have a question for our viewers is what do you think when someone comes at you with a handshake? Like what comes to your mind? Because we don't really understand what you're thinking when we do that by accident. I still do that.
Those are the only two observations that I have when I first got here.
Yeah. Well, what about not touching? Because I think in America you do at least give a handshake. So if you don't touch at all,
that's
in America
rude, right?
it's kind of like, ooh, they don't like you or they don't want it.
Is true.
But here it's normal, I think. And I shouldn't. So sometimes because I'm consciously not trying to touch them, I think that I'm being impolite. Sometimes I think, oh, I wonder if they think I'm being standoffish, or maybe they just think that's normal. Is it standoffish if you just enter someone's house, let's say, that they've invited you to?
It would be helpful if in the comments you would just tell us, for a man entering a situation with strangers, what would be the appropriate greeting for another man and another woman? And so we'll tell you in America, if you're in America, it's okay if you go in for a handshake. For man on man, man on woman, or woman on woman. Feel free to clarify if it's between strangers, or between friends, or between family.
Thanks so much for watching this video about greetings in the UK versus the US. We hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment below and let us know if you agree or if you disagree.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.